You were looking at 90% air. That is what a Peep actually is. Not candy, not marshmallow in the way most people think. Air, trapped inside a gelatin mesh so thin each wall is smaller than a single human hair. And the machine that puts it there finishes the entire job in 6 minutes. But here's what nobody mentions when they talk about Peeps. Before 1953, this same candy took 27 hours to make, and the engineer who compressed 27 hours into 6 minutes had to cut something from the original design to make it work, something that never came back. We will get there. Raw material. It starts with 3 ingredients: sugar, corn syrup, gelatin. The sugar and syrup go into a heated tank. Workers monitor temperature until both dissolve completely into a single amber liquid. Too cool and the mixture stays grainy. Too hot and the sugar begins to caramelize and the batch is scrapped. Meanwhile, the gelatin, derived from pork skin collagen, is bloomed separately. Dry gelatin granules go into warm water. They absorb it, swell, transform from hard crystals into a soft, translucent mass. This process cannot be rushed. The gelatin needs time to fully hydrate before it can do its job. That job is critical. Without gelatin, every Peep would collapse into a puddle of syrup the second it left the nozzle. Aeration. This next step is the reason a Peep feels like almost nothing in your hand. Industrial whisks spin at high speed inside a large mixing bowl. They fold air into the hot syrup in tight, rapid cycles, and the mixture responds immediately. What was a dense liquid doubles in volume, then triples. The amber color disappears. The mass turns white. In under 3 minutes, a heavy bowl of hot syrup becomes a light, fluffy cloud of marshmallow. Here's the number that changes how you see every Peep you have ever eaten. 90% of the final volume is air, not sugar, not gelatin, air. That soft give when you press a finger into a Peep, that is millions of microscopic air bubbles trapped inside a protein web, each one held by a gelatin wall thinner than a human hair. The entire structure exists because of a mixer running fast enough to capture air before the syrup cools. And honestly, that changes everything. You are not eating candy. You are eating pressurized air wrapped in a sugar shell. The Depositor. The whipped marshmallow is pumped through heated pipes kept at around 60 degrees Celsius. The heat keeps it fluid. The moment it cools, it sets, and a set marshmallow cannot be shaped. Most factories skip this level of temperature control entirely. The Peeps factory does not, and that decision explains why the chicks hold their shape instead of spreading flat on the belt. The marshmallow arrives at the Depositor. A row of nozzles moves in a programmed pattern, piping the body of each chick first, then looping back to add the head on top. The timing is exact. Too fast and the head lands off-center. Too slow and the body spreads before the head arrives and the chick loses its shape completely. The belt moves without stopping, one row of 5 chicks, then another. The connection at the base is not a flaw, it's built into the nozzle pattern. That's why Peeps have always come in rows of 5. Not a packaging decision, a machine decision. The secret step, 27 hours to 6 minutes. Remember what I said at the start? This is it. In the early 1950s, a worker at the original Peeps factory held a fabric pastry bag full of warm marshmallow. She squeezed it by hand onto a tray, shaped one chick, then another, each one individually, each one with 2 small wings on either side of the body. The trays were left overnight to cool and firm. By morning, they had a few hundred chicks, ready to package. That was the full day's output, 27 hours, from mixing to packaged candy, for a piece of sweetened air. In 1953, an engineer looked at that process and spent 2 years building a machine to replace it, an automated depositor, one continuous line that could pipe, shape, and coat marshmallow without stopping. When it worked, 27 hours became 6 minutes, but the machine had a condition. The original chick had wings, small ones, on each side of the body. At low speed, the nozzles could handle them. At full production speed, the wings caught on the nozzles and jammed the line, every time. In 1955, the wings were cut from the design, permanently. The chicks lost their shape so the factory could gain its speed, and in 70 years, the wings have never come back. Every Peep you have ever held, every Peep being made right now is a version of a design that was simplified to fit a machine. You've never seen what the original looked like. Almost nobody has. Sugar coating. While the marshmallow chicks are still wet and sticky from the depositor, the belt moves them under a curtain of colored sugar crystals falling from above. The crystals are not table sugar. They're coarser, sized specifically so they catch light and create that sparkle on the surface of every Peep. Finer sugar would dissolve into the marshmallow. These crystals stay on top and form the shell. Excess sugar is blown off from underneath by compressed air jets. What remains is a precise, even coating across the entire surface. Yellow was the only color for decades. Now the factory runs pink, blue, lavender, and orange on separate lines. Every color change requires a full cleaning cycle before the next color can run. A single contaminated crystal turns an entire batch the wrong shade. Cooling tunnel and eyes. The coated chicks ride into a cooling tunnel set to 18 degrees Celsius. Cold, dry air circulates until the marshmallow sets, firm enough to hold shape but still giving when pressed. This is the step that either makes or destroys a batch. Too warm and the chicks stick together and collapse. Too cold and the gelatin sets rigid and the texture is wrong. The factory runs this tunnel continuously, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, because the line never stops. At the end of the cooling tunnel, a stamping mechanism presses 2 tiny dots of black carnival wax on each chick's head, the eyes. Every single Peep gets its eyes from the same stamp, which is why they all look in the same direction. Not one looks left, not one looks right. 2 billion chicks per year, every pair of eyes staring the same way, because one stamp runs the entire line. Packaging and quality control. Rows are cut, inspected, placed into trays, and sealed under clear film. A packaging machine applies the tray wrap at speed. The line does not slow for packaging. The trays are boxed and palletized automatically. Quality control runs continuously alongside the main line. Weight checks, visual inspections for color consistency, and coating uniformity. A chick that is underweight, off color, or missing its coating is pulled before it reaches boxing. From liquid sugar to boxed candy, 6 minutes. Scale and numbers. The Bethlehem, Pennsylvania factory runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during peak season. 5.5 million Peeps per day. From one production line, over 2 billion per year, enough to circle the Earth twice if you lined them up end to end. And here's the number that makes no sense until you think about it. Easter accounts for more than 70% of all Peeps ever sold. That means 300 million chicks are sold in a window of a few weeks. A candy that takes 6 minutes to make generates enough revenue in 8 weeks to keep the factory running for the other 42. That's the math behind every Easter basket. 8 weeks feeding 52, and the candy doing that is 90% air. Every spring you reach for one of these and feel almost nothing in your hand. That's not an accident. That's 70 years of factory precision. Air trapped inside gelatin walls thinner than a human hair, coated in sugar crystals sized to catch light, stamped with 2 eyes that never look anywhere but straight ahead. Wings that were cut in 1955 and never came back. A shape locked in by a machine's limitation, and a process that took a human 27 hours, then took an engineer 2 years to compress into 6 minutes. Did you know the original Peep had wings and the factory cut them permanently just to make the machine run faster? Drop your answer below. And if this is the kind of process that interests you, subscribe. New factory story every week.